What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Whoever is actually watching the stream, we're gonna attempt to give it a go here at Raj. He's been very, 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 very under the weather. So if you haven't seen him on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, he's been really sick. So we're gonna try to get through the show. Give it the best effort we can. Let him, if he's got to hack it out, I'll just kind of talk a lot and stuff. Uh, I was thinking during the intro, like, I wonder if like people are gonna start downvoting my videos because my intro does not involve any Trey Lance video whatsoever. And I'm just like thinking as the intro is going, like, I think people are gonna start noticing that and be like, what an ass. What an ass hat. He doesn't have any Trey Lance stuff. But I could always have Roscoe updated at some point during the season next year if my man number 5 is doing thing. But how you doing, man? Besides being sick, I mean, it's a little quiet off season wise. We have a little bit of news with the schedule coming out tomorrow, but it's been pretty quiet. We have a little bit of news. We'll bang on it a little bit, but how are you doing other than being sick?
Yeah,
If you can separate the two.
I guess I'm doing okay, but it's hard to be like 100% and like thriving when you've been dealing with like the sickness and stuff. But I'm good. I'm feeling good. I got 2 cough drops. We got the water.
He hasn't been coughing all day, everybody.
This is the best day I've had in like. I feel great actually. I felt good. It's just the nagging, persistent cough. I got a heart condition, so whenever I get like sick, it like my body magnifies it. So I'm good today though. I feel good. And as far as the intro goes, it's probably best that you don't put any quarterbacks, in your intro.
Thought about that.
Kind of a controversial topic in the 49ers land, but yeah, I'm good. I'm just glad to be here talking about the Niners today. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? I hope some people start joining in. I know it's a late Tuesday for me on the East Coast, but West Coast time, you guys are like eating dinner or something. So
7 o'clock.
What's up, David McNiner, 49er Media? Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you guys taking time. We got some news coming Thursday, schedule release. Yippee-ki-yay. Everybody's gonna be excited for 5 minutes. It's kind of the last big hit before OTA talk, and then it's till training camp. It'll be interesting to see, based on a topic that I'm going to hit on later involving the 49ers and the Eagles, where they place that game. My question to you is, do you want it late in the season? Do you want it early in the season to get it out of the way? Do you want the Niners humming? Do you think the Niners, if they start it early and they go play them early, they're going to be, inconsistent like they are usually in the early part of the season? What's your take on if the Niners, well, they're going to play, it's not if, but when they play the Eagles?
I want to see them get it right out of the bat, get it out week 1, Sunday Night Football. I want all the smoke right now, because that taste of that NFC Championship game is still, it's just, the bad taste is in my mouth. Like, if you're a Niner fan, like, you're still pissed off, just like Debo. I know we're going to talk about this later. I'm mad. I want revenge. I want it now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to have to like sit here and like wait. I want our team to be, this is our team, start of the season. Let's get the rematch out of the way. I know there's a lot of people that say, hey, look, I want to start fast. I want a good start. Let's get some easy games under a belt. I don't care. I want the Niners and the Eagles to be week 1 matchup. If I don't see that Thursday when they release schedule, I'm not going to be mad, but I'll be a little disappointed. I do want them to be.
Everybody should be healthy if nothing happens during training camp or preseason.
Exactly.
So you'd be at your best then, facing them at say like week 11 when you got like 5 or 6 starters out and they're clicking on all cylinders. You're right. I'd rather start off the season. I think that would be a huge trajectory maker. It's like, oh, we start the season, we beat the team that beat us in the championship game with a full squad. Oh, maybe if they meet and they get in the playoffs, it might be the same news. I'd asked my brother. I said, Jared, if we had to face them, would you rather have us win? He's a Dolphins fan. He doesn't care really, but he's like, win both games, playoffs and in the regular season. He's like, why? Because I'm like, well, I'd rather lose in the regular season and beat them in the playoffs. And Jared was like, why not beat them twice? And I was like, true, not that easy, but I mean, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, it's going to be on the road, which sucks, but I think when you're really, really, really talented, it doesn't freaking really matter. As long as your scheme is good and your players are playing at a high level. It is scary though because the Niners do start slow all the time. So
traditionally they do. 2019 was one year they didn't, but you're right. But I think getting this game out of the way, if they win it, I mean that is, like you said, a great trajectory. Like this would be great springboard into the season. We just beat the NFC champs. I feel like it would be good vibes for this team, and I could tell like this team, like every interview they had ever since that game, like you could just tell it's still in their mind. I would love to see this week 1. I mean, if it's not, it is what it is. There's a lot of good games on our schedule. I think they in terms of win-loss record from last season, how we're going into the season. I feel like the 49ers are like in the middle, like 15th strength of schedule, I guess. So I feel like we have a pretty good schedule, and I think that starting off hot definitely is the key, because you're right, they do pretty much start a little slow, and I feel like this year you have to get that number 1 seed. You have to be able to get home field advantage in the playoffs. It's such a talented team, and the window eventually will close. I think this year, I talked about this with Larry the other day, and I was thinking about it. I was like, he said, is this a win now season? Is this like a boom or bust? Is this a Super Bowl or bust? And then the more I think about it, I think it is. Like this team, me and you talked about this off camera before we started. Trent Williams, we don't know if he's going to be playing after this year. Like there's a lot of what ifs on this team. George Kittle, he's getting older. Debo, he's getting a little older. You know, all these veterans. Fred Warner, he's getting like these superstar veterans. Their peak is going to last eventually, and I hate to say that, but it will. I think this is the best chance this team has to win a Super Bowl, and if they can get for a home field advantage, it'll really set them up. So I think how they start the season is very good. I would love to see them start with the Eagles, but I think getting a great start to the season is the most important thing for this team going into the 2023 season, because I feel like last year, if they would have been playing the NFC Championship game in Levi's instead of the Link, might have been a little different.
I believe so too. I mean, if the injury still happens, then that's one thing, though. You know, if he still gets hurt, then I think we're still kind of dead in the water. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. If he would have still got hurt, it's a different story. But would he have gotten hurt? I don't know. Maybe the game plays out a little differently. I don't know.
So yesterday, I used all the wrestling jargon for the different levels of content creators, right? You know, I'm making a joke out of it. You know, I've been a little sour here and there, but I'm getting better. So there is, I think there's 4. There technically should be 5, but it goes main eventer, mid carder, jobber, and curtain jerker. And it's funny because a curtain jerker is just somebody that like never gets a match and he's just standing and watching them.
Get dark matches.
Yeah, so they're like a 2-view channel that gets, you know, they have an hour and a half stream and they get 2 views.
Oh.
I've been doing much better, but Brian's like, it's okay, I'm a curtain puller. You have to start somewhere. You guys, listen, man. I say that because I have taken this way too seriously. And I've got to find a way to mentally make jokes out of it. Because when I make jokes out of it, it helps me kind of just like whatever, you know, because I take everything really seriously. I'm kind of a high-strung individual, but
yeah,
everyone yesterday was like, I told everybody we should all have different labels under ours. So like Raj would be main eventer, I'd be mid card.
Status anymore? Maybe I'm like, I think I got dropped.
Co-main event. So you're the main event opponent to the main eventer, maybe.
No, I think I'm mid. I used to be main event, but
I'm a jobber for sure. If that's the case.
Oh man, you might be a jobber.
I might be a jobber. Definitely the way things are going right now. Oh my Lord.
I don't know.
I just checked people say don't check who's streaming. There's some hotties. The hotties are streaming right now. So woo. But anyways, whatever. Who cares? What was I going to say? Yeah, let's see. I think we played the Steelers too, which is interesting because it's in Pittsburgh. I live in New York. It's a 4-hour trip. Does Aaron finally go to his first NFL game and watch the 49ers in Pittsburgh?
You got to go.
I don't know. My brother's like, you say it, but you won't do it. I have to find a road. My nephew's a 49ers fan.
Go.
We got to go. I would assume if we drove there the night before, got a hotel, got some pizza or something, got to the game early, and then the game ends probably it's East Coast. So if it ends at 4, we could be home by 8 o'clock.
Well, maybe 9 because traffic getting out of the stadium.
Yeah.
City.
So
You gotta go. You gotta go to a game. I
I
mean, I
do.
want to go to all the.
And here's the thing. If I do go, if anybody knows me who's might be or knows me, who watches me, for the 6 of you that watch me, come join me at the festivities. I've never been to a game. I don't know. I don't drink. Buy
You've
me an
never
iced
been
tea
to
or something.
an
I don't care. I'll
NFL
buy.
game?
What's that?
Oh, you've never been to a game?
I've never been to an NFL game. I've
You
had a
got.
chance.
Oh, you. This is the season that you gotta go, man. Niners Steelers that's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I want to go. I can't. I'm not going alone. I mean, I could. I could take
You
a.
could, but you don't want to go.
That would be so like lonely, especially if they lose. At least me and my nephew would go. We both depends if it's late in the year. We could both wear our gold faithful to the bay.
Yeah.
It's funny. We got the same jacket, but I say he's a lot smaller than me. He's been lifting weight, so he's actually kind of diesel right now. But he's only like 5'11", my nephew, but only 5'11".
Only fucking
5'10", 5'11",
yeah.
5'9", whatever. Anyways, he's thinner than me by quite a bit. So, but we'll see, man. I need to go. 49er Media says I need to go. Allegedly Steve-O, he said the 3 hardest games at home: Cowboys, Ravens, Cincy. Yes. I think we could beat the Cowboys. I think we could beat the Ravens. Cincy,
I mean, that's those.
I think we could beat.
I
think
want
we
to
could
go
beat all 3 of them.
I want to go to all 3 of those games. I can't wait for the tickets to drop this week. I gotta go to the Dallas game. I always go to a Dallas. Like that's Niners Dallas. You gotta go. Ravens game. That's gonna be a good one. Lamar, come on, man.
The Niners figured out a way to stop a quarterback that moves.
It's hard, man. I don't know. I went to the last time the Niners played the Ravens, Levi Stadium. It was like 2013. I remember this game. I went. I think Kaepernick. It's when I still lived in Vegas back then, so I used to fly in for the games. I remember we had Torrey Smith. Kaepernick hits Torrey Smith. Oh, like a bomb. And Niners were running away with this game. And I remember that the cornerback that he burned on the play, Sharice Wright. We had just cut him like the week before he signed with the Ravens, and it was like, oh, no wonder they cut him. I mean, Torrey Smith was gassing them, but we almost lost the game. We were up big, and they ended up coming back, and I'm sitting there going, holy crap, they're going to lose this game. But they ended up winning. That was a fun Levi's Stadium regular season game. I think it was, I want to say it was after the Super Bowl we lost. It was kind of like a revenge game. But that was a fun game. That was the last time I watched them play the Ravens. I got to go see them play a Ravens game. They're usually pretty good games. Cincy would be a badass game, man. Joe Burrow, Nick Bosa and Joe Burrow, the boys. That'd be cool. I don't know. I want to go to those games. Dallas, of course. If I go to a road game this year, man, I would love to go to that Steelers game. I would love to go to Philly, but I don't know, man. Philly's kind of grimy.
I don't want to go to Philly because I have a temper and I can't fight everybody. So I'll get my ass handed to me.
I'd probably get broken in half.
I'm just slow and big. I got a bad knee, man. All I got to do is kick me. And it's over with. They kick me in the knee, I'm beat. And he's down. I'd rather not get into a fight with like 20 drunk Eagles fans. Go to the Steelers game. That would be, dude. If I met, that's a long trip for you though to come and see the Steelers. That's an East Coast game.
That'd be a fun trip, man. We always go.
I'm kind of hard to miss.
I kind of want to go.
If I wear a red hat, I look like a beacon that just sits there. Like this, he has a big ass head. There he is.
I want to like travel somewhere to see like a road game somewhere. We did some. Every time I go to road games, they're just so much fun, man. I love traveling, so I want to find a good road game to go to this year. So we'll see. Lauracat
says, "Why is Philly like that? That the Philadelphia people are assholes, man.
Yeah,
they cheered when Michael Irvin pretty much broke his neck on the turf at Veterans Stadium or whatever the stadium was called. They booed Santa Claus.
They booed Santa Claus. I remember they had a guy. I used to watch baseball a lot. It was what outfielder was it? I can't remember the name. JD Drew, I think was his name.
JD Drew. I remember JD Drew.
Yeah, you remember JD Drew. I think he left or something. He went to another I think he used to be on the Phillies. He left to the Cardinals, I think. And they were throwing batteries at the dude. Like they were throwing batteries. I was like, who throws batteries at a guy? Like,
right.
Easy, man. Yeah, that's Philly. That's the culture.
I couldn't get myself. There's nothing you could do. There's too many of them, If you're manning up against one, but even that, like, why fight? I don't want to be there to fight. I want to watch a football game, dude.
I remember after the Philadelphia game last year, NFC Championship game, fans were getting pelted, 95-7 the game. They were, they were Bonta and everybody. They were posting videos of how they're getting like bombarded by water bottles thrown at them, cussing at them. Fred Warner's wife was talking to her experience. She was getting like slurs thrown at her, like just all types of nasty.
Of course.
Crazy.
People just think that's where all the winners come out. We got East Coast Red and Gold in here. Thank you very much for coming through. Appreciate it. Frank Tom Ocean, what's up, man? Jimmy Perez, what is going on? Let's see here. OTAs, May 22nd through the 23rd, May 25th, May 30th through 31st, June 2nd, June 5th and 6th, June 8th, and mandatory minicamp. That's even if they have one, because didn't they cancel their mandatory minicamp last year?
They cut a few days from it. They were like, all right, we gotta stop early. They've done it the last few years where they just like ended a little early. I feel like
if they're healthy and they've gotten what they need to get in, they're like, okay, we'll see you in July.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited though. Training camp that means it's around the corner. The players are starting to wrap up. They're in the phase 2 of their off-season program, but I'm excited for these OTAs and stuff because I feel like the media will finally get to be able to be there, and we might get to hear how some of these players are doing. Obviously, Trey Lance, we get to hear about those kind of things. Rookie minicamp this week starts Friday, so that's interesting. We'll get to see a little bit of how the rookies are doing. It's just good for us because we get to hear some stories, some articles will be written here and there. We get to see some content, so it'll be fun. But the real meat and potatoes is training camp in July, and that's what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, and me and Raj were talking off camera. Like, listen, let's be honest. This time of year, if you're making content for the Niners, it's pretty bare bones, and you got to kind of bullshit your way through these streams because there's just not a lot of news. But at the same time, like he said, once training camp starts and you start hearing things about, hey, Trey Lance is looking good, or oh man, Trey Lance is looking bad, I can't wait for Purdy to come back. Mm-hmm. And we could put to bed a lot of stuff too. As far as reporters who have nothing better to do, who make up stories. That's what time of year it is right now. It's just a lot of non-news. The draft is great. The pre-draft is great. The post-draft is great. Schedule release is cool because you can kind of spitball and see what records. Of course, I'm going to have a stream at some point. I don't know when or where, but I'll do a prediction. I was thinking for a schedule release stream that's usually like a multi-person stream, just getting a bunch of ragtag guys on and, no real topics, just what do you think? Who's winning? What's our record at the end? What's your prediction? Boom, that's the stream.
Yeah.
And then it's just like crickets.
Yeah, then you just got to drum up stuff like like our buddy Ian Rappaport. Like that, yeah.
Make up news, and then have the organization tell you to freaking shut your yapper.
Let's get into that. I cannot believe
it's down the list. It's after the Mayoka news, but we'll come back to the Mayoka news. Okay. So everybody knows Matt Mayoka, Ian, whatever, they're all the same. Yeah. Ian Rappaport made a comment about Darnold. He had a lot of love for Darnold, and saying, Darnold could beat out Purdy, and could Darnold start, kind of like the whole narrative, could Darnold possibly start the season, to kind of piggyback off of the Mayoka stuff that we'll hit on in a second. And the 49ers pushed back and pretty much saying like, hey, cut it out with your Darnold love with Purdy being out. And I don't think I've ever seen a reporter get kind of poo-pooed like that by an organization. What was your take on, one, are you surprised at this point with Rappaport or any of these guys, or are you surprised that the Niners actually like pushed him back? And he actually said something about it. Like, most guys don't say like, hey, the organization told me to shut my yapper. He actually told everybody.
Yeah, no, I was surprised that he actually owned up to that, but I'm not surprised. I mean, it's smoke season every year, off season. It's just fake news. I get to the point now, like I got to the point this off season where I didn't really post that much or go into detail about, like, most of it's just rumors. It's like, dude, we do this every year. People come up with like just the most nonsense stories for views, and they have their their shows, their NFL Network, their articles they got to write. So yeah, they're gonna create some spin about whatever's a juicy topic. The 49ers, their topic is typically quarterback. So yeah, Ian Rappaport comes out and
every year.
Is Sam Darnold going to be quarterback one? And then it creates doubt in everybody's mind, and everybody's already shitting on Lance. And they're, see, Rappaport, he knows everything because he's a breaking news guy. So if he's saying this, it's got to be true. And then for him to come out and Pat McAfee, like, put him on the spot, he's like, wait, did the fans say this? Did the team say this? And he's like, no, the team, not the fans. And it was like, oh, okay. And it's nice to hear that the team pushed back because they're like, hey, look, why don't you give Trey Lance that kind of we want you to gas up Trey Lance. You know what? We don't need you to sit here and talk about Sam Darnold. We've already said he's an insurance policy. Like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have been a matter of fact. They said, look, this is where we're at. Trey Lance is going to get his opportunity. We said it before. Brock Purdy's on the mend, and he's going to go out there. He's going to get first-team reps, and so is Sam Darnold. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just hand the job to Trey. And Trey said that 2 months ago. So everything that's coming out of the Niners camp is what they've said for months. It's not, the story doesn't change, but you got Ian Rappaport trying to put a spin on it. And they said, look, man, that's not what we've said. Go check the receipts. Go check my interviews. I've said this, this, and this. Nowhere have we said that Sam Darnold is the leader or has a chance to be a starter. I mean, yes, theoretically, if Trey Lance goes into training camp and he shits the bed, then yes, absolutely, Sam Darnold could come in. But nobody expects Sam Darnold to come and beat Trey Lance. So at the end of the day, I was happy that the 49ers team pushed back on him, but I was also happy Ian Rappaport called himself out because that was kind of a crappy move to have all, because when Ian Rappaport comes out with story, what happens in the next hour? Every content creator goes on the channel and creates a video. Oh, the 49ers all in on Sam Darnold. And then they create these their YouTube videos, and it's just like, come on, dude. So it was nice to see.
To me, it could be too that the Niners want to increase Trey Lance's value if they do plan on trading him. You have to think of everything. I hate to say that. I hate to be that negative voice in that situation, but I don't think that's the reasoning. I really do think that they want to kind of, organizations do in some ways try to control the narrative. These national guys, man, if the Niners could just come into one offseason where they had quarterback figured out, we'd be so boring.
Be boring.
Whereas every year, it's either the Kaepernick situation back in the day with, and then there's the, of course, the Jimmy Garoppolo coming onto the scene in 2017 and doing all that. And then, then we draft Trey Lance down the road. Jimmy is Jimmy, he was okay. He wasn't never great. And then we got people talking about Sam Darnold, and I'm thinking to myself, listen, if you think in your mind's eye that you're going to go into a playoff game or a Super Bowl and face the likes of Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes with Sam Darnold as your quarterback and think you're coming out with a W, really? Like, he's shown you what he is. Yes. Here's the thing, and I said this last night with the NWO guys. So Sam Darnold could be this amazing reclamation story with Kyle Shanahan at his disposal and at his back. But yet Trey Lance, who's only had 4 starts in the National Football League, he's already done for. So, like, how do both exist in the same stratosphere, in the same universe? Like, yeah. To me, like you said, it's drumming up stuff for clicks, and it works, man. We click on it. I make videos about it.
Everybody does. Like, anybody who's in it. I'm sure if I was not sick these last 2 weeks, I would have sat here. Trey Lance and Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold.
You got to remember, though, you got to have a really good thumbnail, though. You got to drum up interest.
I know. But at the end of the day, these national reporters, they want to say what they say in the media. Most fans, they'll just sit there, and if it's on the internet, it must be true. Like, casual fans will sit there and they'll believe it. And that's what it's frustrating because, most fans that aren't following every day, they see these stories and like, oh, it must be true. Is this true? And then they come on the streams to get people's opinions, and it's frustrating. And again, you had Rappaport kind of backtracking because he got caught up in a lot. I think he got caught up in everything. And I don't know. It's just like you said, if the 49ers didn't have quarterback talk it would be boring in 49ers Twitter land. Like, what the heck would we argue about? What, like, can you imagine 49ers Twitter?
It'd be
If there
boring.
was
There would be no clips. We would
yeah,
just have to repost like draft stuff and
what are we doing?
that's it.
What are we doing?
Oh man. So in the same vein, Matt Mayoka talked about, and this was, you were on the mend, you've been sick. The whole best arm talent I may have never seen, or whatever his words were, in an organization that had Joe Montana and Steve Young, hell, even Jeff Garcia and all the other. Kaepernick had a pretty good arm, even though he was. Sam Darnold's the best arm you've ever seen, arm talent. Like, really, that's where this is going. Like, uh, what's your take on that?
So that's kind of what spurred the talk on Pat McAfee show, because he brings up the tweet and the video and everything of Matt Mioko's, because he was on KMBR or was on his podcast. I can't remember. He said it. Might have been on KMBR because I saw it on the KMBR Instagram the next day. So he says that he makes this is the way though Mayoko kind of backtracked himself too, just like Rappaport. The way he said it was he may have the best arm talent, or he may be the best thrower of the football. So when you look at that, say, okay, maybe he doesn't mean accuracy, maybe he doesn't mean like ball placement, all this stuff, just sheer velocity of throwing. That to him, that's the best he's seen from his limited time seeing Sam Darnold. That's what he's saying. But then the reason, so when he puts the May, it could kind of give him that back. Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe no. But yeah, it just created this weird vibe, this weird, like, again, more distension amongst the fan base of, oh, because a lot of people, they hear what Mayoko says because he's been around the team for decades and like, oh, maybe he's right, maybe he's on. Is Sam Darnold the guy? If Matt Mayoko saying it, is it coming from, the front office? Is he being paid to say it? So it does create more tension, and it's like, what the heck? So then, of course, we're gonna sit here and discuss it. But that's crazy to me to say that Sam Darnold is the best thrower on 49ers he's ever seen. Because, like you said, you name some guys. I mean, maybe in terms of just sheer velocity, maybe. But in terms of arm, being able to like accurately place the ball somewhere 70-yard, like exact dot to a receiver. We haven't even seen him in a game. We haven't seen him throwing against the pass rush. Obviously we know he's had talent.
Everybody looks good against air, man.
I mean, he played at USC, right? The guy was a first-round pick, number 3 pick. And we all know he hasn't played with many great teams, right? He's never had a really strong team around him. And I get the sense of a lot of people, and like Mayoko said it too, is, this is the best team he's ever been around. He's never had talent like this. And then Mayoko threw this, though, in there. He goes, well, Frank Gore was there too. And Frank Gore says, when he was on the Jets, this guy was underrated. So it's like he kind of was hyping him up. I was like, I don't know, man. So it's just weird, man. And it's again, it's going to be we're going to know everything we need to know during training camp. Like you said earlier, you says we're going to be able to justify a lot of things we've heard this offseason when training camp comes. Because if Trey Lance goes out there and he's the Trey Lance we expect, then we're going to be like, all right, Matt Maiocco was just overhyped or whatever. He was just excited seeing Sam Darnold out there. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird to me hearing him say like that much praise. He was just like gushing. I mean, what do you think about the whole thing?
It's hard because, Mayoka's been, like you said, he's been around the team a long time. Do the team send him stuff to say? Do they put stuff in his ear to put out there? Sometimes I think they do. He's very beloved in that interview room. Mayoka's one of the top guys, him and Barrows. They don't press the issue like a Grant Cohn does, where they ask the questions that everybody hates.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of fans like myself who get pissed want to ask those questions. They don't do that. And there's a reason why they're beloved, is because they push just enough at the organization, but they don't push too far.
Yeah,
and
they hold the company line.
They definitely toe the company line. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Is he going off of just what he's seen at the mini camp or wherever? Yeah, it's cool to have arm strength and velocity and suck. Joe Montana didn't have a huge arm, but he was extremely accurate. Okay. 70% almost completion percentage in the Super Bowls that he played in. Think about that. 70%. So out of 10 throws, he made 7, which is easy math. I don't know, man. Like, I'll take a guy with an average arm who's accurate, who can get the ball in places, over a guy who's scatter shot and is really strong. Now, if you're saying that, maybe I'm talking about Trey Lance a little bit, and I am, but he can improve. He's still young. He's just turned 23.
23 today.
He's 23 years old.
That's
that
crazy.
That was 2003, people. That's when I was 23.
Damn.
Ages ago. That's a long time ago. But yeah, happy 23. Somebody got him a cake, and that almost became a national story. As just ever.
No, that's big news to me.
Yeah. What does that mean? Kittle got him a cake.
No,
what do you think?
Because it's George Kittle, and you know how many people in out there in Ninerland, George Kittle doesn't like Trey Lance. He was with Sam Darnold at the Warriors game. They don't
right. He's not part of the Cabo clique.
You got him a nice cake. It was an expensive bougie cake from a fancy place. You got him a cake.
It looked like a cheesecake almost.
It was nice, and you know what they did last year? George Kittle took Trey Lance to a Warriors game, and he got him a cake last year, a similar cake. I'm going to make this prediction tomorrow night, Warriors game. George Kittle's taking Trey Lance to the game tomorrow night. Mark my prediction.
He better. 49er Media, you're only 21 years old, and damn, son, you're young.
That's great. 23. That was 16 years ago for me.
That was let's see, that was the year that the Niners, Jeff Garcia, I think that was the year of the famous Giants game where they botched the snap and then they had to throw it down towards the end zone, and the pass interference was never called or whatever. I forget that game.
The Shockey? Was that the Jimmy?
Yeah. I think that was a 2003. Because it was, man, I remember being like, that was the last time the Niners were decent.
The comeback game, right?
Yeah, that was a big T.O. game. T.O. had a huge game.
Running into the end zone on the right. Yeah, T.O. had 10.
I had my Jeff Garcia jersey when I was skinny. When I was younger, 2003, I was 23. Yeah. I used to wear my hair short, which, as you can see, I have a big forehead, so it doesn't look good. I look a lot like Jeff Garcia. And a lot of the guys used to call me, a lot of the guys, the dudes that were friends. They were mostly my brother's friends, but I hung out with them. So I just started rocking the Garcia jersey all the time. Might as well just embrace it. I think they're making fun of me, but whatever. But yeah, that was a long time ago. So the Niners made some moves the other day. They signed Brandon Allen, quarterback. We already knew about that.
Yeah.
Marlon Davidson, overdrafted, underproductive defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, I think, and Troy Fumagalli. I should know. That sounds Italian. Tight end. I think he was in camp last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was there last year.
So he's just when I see names like that, it's just camp body. Really, to be honest with you, probably the same thing with Brandon Allen too. The Marlon Davidson one is interesting because every time I see a Niners add another defensive lineman, especially interior, it just makes me think that Kinlaw's days are extremely numbered. Let me ask you this. You know a little bit more about it than I do. Could they cut Kinlaw after? Can they? What kind of cap number or what kind of cap penalty do they get if they cut him?
They gotta wait. It's one of those things where they gotta wait till June 1st if you don't want to, because otherwise you're gonna lose $6 million.
Yeah, they don't. Right. Okay.
So if it's one of those things post June 1st, you could cut him. So yeah, there might be a chance where they cut him, but honestly, I think they just let him ride it out, see if he can be healthy this year and be a depth piece. At this point in his career, he should at least be able to make the 53-man roster. He should be good enough. If he's not, they'll cut him after June 1st because that's, rosters aren't due until, end of August, right before the season starts. So yeah, in August, if he's not cutting his weight, at that point, just cut rid of him. There's no point in cutting him now or let's see what he can do in training camp. But they do have a lot of guys now. And this guy, he was a second-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Talent. He was out of Auburn. He just had knee issues. But again, another guy.
There you go.
So,
but he was a second-round pick and not a first-round pick.
Not a first-round pick, but it's just
he wasn't a top 15 guy.
It's just another guy that's going to be out there, and you need depth during training camp. During OTAs, during minicamp.
Lots of depth.
Going to be there. A lot of it is voluntary, so some of these guys aren't going to be there. So you need guys to be there. But the thing that's interesting is, okay, they have, I think, 92 people on their roster now, so they might have to cut 2 people to make room for these guys they signed. So it's definitely a possibility that they're cutting someone. I mean, or they have to. Maybe they cut the other kicker, Zane Gonzalez. Maybe they, cut some dead weight here and there in the next couple of days. Rookie minicamp's here. Maybe they go into rookie minicamp and there's someone that just sucks and they're all right, we'll cut you right now.
Teams just have numbers sometimes they have to meet at certain dates. And then as soon as they don't need to meet those numbers anymore, flick them off like bing, see ya. And 49ers throwback, he says, I have one question, Aaron, for you. As an NFL schedule release Thursday, which team opponent are you looking forward to play? We talked about this right at the beginning of the stream, throwback. The Eagles, of course. We want revenge, but we want revenge with a healthy team and healthy quarterback. My only thing is
top 3 teams. What's your top 3 teams you're looking forward to this year?
Eagles, Seahawks, because everybody says that they had a better draft than the 49ers.
Good one.
So Eagles, Seahawks, and Bengals, I would say, are my 3.
Yeah, I'd probably say Eagles, Cowboys. I love beating the Cowboys.
So do I. I have 2 friends that are huge Cowboys fans, and I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah. I'd probably say Seattle, too, because you're right. I feel the same thing. Everybody's like talking about how post-draft, the Eagles were so amazing. They're so great. Oh, what a draft. We beat them 3 times last year. So, yeah, Seattle's definitely a game I got circled.
Mr. Michael says, Kinlaw at the facility every day work and give him some slack. I was just kind of throwing that out there,
I hope he is at this point. He's got a lot to prove. I'm not gonna give him slack, man. At this point in his career, he's got to prove himself. He should be at the facility every day. He should be working hard, and he has transformed his body. But unfortunately for him, his knees are about as good as yours, Aaron, and it sucks. But
but I'm 43. I'm not in my early 20s, so I have an excuse.
It's tough, and I love Kinlaw as a person. He's a great person. He should be grinding. This is his last chance. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and this is it. This is his last chance to do something. This is a contract year for him. Whether he's going to return with the Niners or not, if he wants to continue in the NFL, this is a season where he has to go out there and put in some numbers, put in some work, stay healthy.
Yeah, he 49er media says Eagles, Bengals, Jags.
Yeah,
Jags, interesting.
Good one. I like Trevor.
Trevor Lawrence. He has a chance to be even better this year. It's the second. What is it? His 3rd year in the league.
Yeah. Trey Lance, 3rd year. They came into the same draft.
And Trey Lance has played nothing. And I still think Trey Lance has a chance to be better than Trevor Lawrence, to be honest with you.
He has a ceiling.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been okay. I don't think he's been earth-shattering, but he also doesn't have a ton of weapons down there either. So it's kind of.
I mean, Urban Meyer was bad. Last year was it was like a huge leap.
Urban Meyer, what a joke. What a weirdo. Like, and then you watch that picture and it's just like, man, it creeps me out. Like, you could tell that he was completely checked out coaching that team. He could care less.
He didn't care.
His reputation was completely torn to shreds, and it's his own fault. Where are we at here? So, training camp, you got rookie. You said rookie mini camp is. You said this Friday.
Yeah, it starts Friday.
Friday. So, you weren't around much for the draft because of you being ill. So, anybody in particular, rookies that you're looking forward to seeing tomorrow or this weekend, or hearing about at least this weekend? I gave my guys yesterday, Luter and Beal, is the 2 guys that I'm really interested in. We talked about tight ends off stream. What is your take on the guys? Who are you interested in?
I think they had a good draft class first and foremost. But
why?
I love Jake Moody, but you don't really care what they're doing in mini camp and stuff. Whatever a kicker's gonna do, I'm more interested in him during the season if he can make those clutch kicks. But they had some solid defensive players. Jair Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy's a playmaker. I talked about him the other day with Larry. Like, this is a ball hawk. He's a future star on this team. He's a guy that's going to get a lot of turnovers. He's got 10 interceptions over the last 2 years. I think that's the guy who will develop. I'm excited to see him. D. Winters, 49ers and linebackers go together like a horse and carriage.
He's definitely an interesting one. I could add him to the list too.
looks phenomenal. I mean, and he's wearing the number 53, Navarro Bowman. Like, the hype on this guy is kind of crazy. His highlights they just pop off the film. I mean, he goes sideline to sideline like nobody's business. This guy, I'm excited about D. Winters. And Robert Beal, I think might be the steal of the draft class. Like, this guy,
Beal the steal.
Beal the steal. The fact that he dropped to the 5th round, his speed, his explosiveness with Chris Kasurik, this might be a diamond in the rough. This guy could be a 10-sack guy in a year or two. I love Robert Beal. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Oh man, I really liked Ronnie Bell. I'm a big Bell guy. I like Michigan, so
A lot of people have been breaking him down and kind of.
He's good.
I don't know whose game he's not super big.
No,
but he's a great route runner and separator.
Shifty. And he's a good. He has great hands. Like, he can hold on to the ball. He's good after the catch. Like, he's perfect in what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. If he can become that willing blocker, this guy's gonna be special for his team. Yeah, I like the 7th round gem.
Speaking of big hands, good hands. With the corner, his name is escaping me. Luter.
Yeah, Luter.
Dude's got massive mitts. They were talking. I was listening to Crocker and Peacock talk about him on their show, and they were talking about, like, he's good with the the movement and stuff as a safe. He's mainly a man guy. I gotta figure out why my computer keeps doing that. It's like going into sleep mode. But yeah, they said he has the ability to make plays kind of like a Beckham and be able to grab some interceptions. That'd be interesting. 10 and a quarter inch hands or something, 10 and 10. He's got some massive mitts. I don't even have that big of hands. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. You don't really think about that, but sometimes that stuff matters as a guy, snatching picks, grabbing them one-handed. But I'd rather him catch with 2 hands, though. Let's get the picks first.
Yeah,
and then we'll worry about it.
But they've added some guys that.
Yeah, guys that make plays on the ball.
Yeah, they added some really good playmakers. I think the 49ers continue to develop talent. They always get guys that in a year or two will be, into this lineup and be starters. And a lot of these guys, they put an emphasis on turning the ball over with a lot of their defensive players. And again, I'm really excited about this class. First year, you don't expect them to go crazy, but I think they have some solid players that they could develop. The Robert Beal, though, to me, I think it got to be. I feel like at that point in the draft, because the Eagles were taking like every Georgia defensive lineman. I think they showed up to their pro day and were like, all right, we're drafting all you guys. That's our scout. That's our scout. And we don't need to go anywhere else. They went to the pro day. We're drafting all you guys. And the 49ers probably got up to the draft board and it's like, all right, we got to take a Georgia guy. We can't let them have the whole team. Right. He said, screw it. We're taking Georgia. Because, I mean, it makes sense for the Eagles. They're just going to get all these guys that have played together. And now they're going to play together in the NFL. They're going to have good chemistry, man. So I feel like that was good tactic for the Eagles. But and Georgia's got some of the best athletes. Like the SEC, the best talent in the NFL. Might as well take from their class. And Beal was like he was their best pass rusher. It was crazy.
They had 2 really good pass rushers. And they said at times Beal he outshined the starter. So that's good to hear, considering they got him in the 5th round. So I'm still a little bit miffed why the Niners haven't made a move on a veteran defensive end edge rusher. Some people seem to think that maybe they're going to wait a little bit more and maybe even let the market even dwindle. Some people think we're not going to go after anybody. I want us to. I just feel like there's so many question marks. Like you have Bosa lock. You have Bosa as a lock. You have Hargrave as a lock, and you have Eric Armstead. But that right end spot, you have a bunch of dudes. Just like last year when I said we have a bunch of dudes, we just had a bunch of depth guys.
Yeah,
I don't see one starter, at least not yet. Everyone's like, well, let them fight it out. But I don't want to. No, this should be a defensive line of top 3, top 5 team in the NFL. You shouldn't have a question mark across from your best pass rusher. That's just me.
No, I agree, and I feel like you're right. Like I think they're putting a lot of, I guess the word's pressure, a lot of expectations on Drake Jackson. He's a 2nd round pick last year. He was their top pick last year, and I think that is as expected, you should put a lot of high expectations on him. But at the same time, it's only a second year. Like, you don't know if he can become that 10-sack guy. I would feel more comfortable if they got a guy like Frank Clark, Yannick Ngakoue, somebody that's available, because there are still a good amount of pass rushers, veteran guy, Justin Houston, that you can bring in to this team, and then you can let
Justin Houston is definitely one guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's great, and you can let Drake continue to develop and come into his own, because he's been working. Like the other guy that says Kinlaw has been at the facility every day. Drake Jackson has been working this offseason. I talked to him offline. He said he's been there, because I seen him post every day on his story. I remember hitting him up one time. I was like, yeah, you've been grinding. He goes, hey, I got to put in the work this offseason. I know what it takes. I was like, all right, good stuff, man. So I know he's working, but I'd be even more comfortable if he's not the guy you're relying on, and he just continues to be a good rotational player, because eventually he's going to come into his own. He's still, he's only played 11 games last year. They shut him down early. And then you're right, you're just a bunch of guys. Like, I'm excited about Robert Beal. He's a rookie. I can't expect him to come in right away and play 17 games. Drake Jackson didn't play 17 games last year, regular season, and then he got shut down in the playoffs. I don't expect that out of Robert Beal. So then you're left with Clelin Ferrell. And you're left with Austin Bryant, who's dealt with injuries his whole career. At the end of the day, man, go get one more edge rusher, because Nick Bosa needs the help. We saw him, tire down the stretch. I know they got Hargrave, and Hargrave is going to be a big, infusion of help, and I think he will be a guy that's going to step in, and you're going to be like, oh, that's the help. That's the guy Bosa gets. But you still can add one more guy. You got $11 million in cap space you freed up. And I know you can still pay Nick Bosa, because none of that cap's going to hit this year. It's all down the line. Go sign a guy, get a veteran, and dominate the league. Like, you'd make if they make that move, Aaron. If they go get a guy like Frank Clark and whoever it is, it's an instant Super Bowl contender. They're the number one team in the NFL, without a doubt.
100%. I had to mute my mic because I got fighting cats out there. My cat's freaking hissing like crazy. Sorry. Man. Trying to think what else. Let them go. Hold on a second.
The cats, they fighting.
Anyway, tell my brother to let her go in my room so she doesn't.
Well, you might need a head of. So last predictions, thoughts. What are your last thoughts here before we head out? Because I know you got to let those cats. They're gonna attack you, man. You're gonna have scratches all over.
They're the door's shut. My cat's down, and she usually just stays in my room. She doesn't like my brother's cat, so they're just fighting. That's okay though. No one's gonna get hurt. Let's see here. The last couple. What you asked me as far as what were you asking me?
So what are your predictions coming up? For I guess schedule. What you got any bold predictions on the schedule? What do we got here?
I'm thinking we're gonna go in this. We're gonna have the same record as last year. I think we're going 12-4, and I think that's gonna be good enough, hopefully, for the number one seed.
I want 13 wins.
You want 13 wins? It's tough though. I say that every year, and then we come out of the gate like crap.
I know. We'll definitely.
There has to be more onus on this.
We'll definitely have to have a prediction show when the schedule comes out, because we can kind of see how it works. You know what I mean? But I think right now, just before the schedule comes out, my mind's saying around 12 wins also. But we'll see how the schedule looks. I think we're going to get a lot of primetime games. I think we're going to get about 5 primetime games.
Let's talk about the league notes. Speaking of primetime, real quick. So I got to go move back here. I switched off to it. Switch off. I got to go down to Twitter because for some reason I don't know how to screen capture on this one like I did my MacBook. All right. So we got NFL will have Black Friday game for the first time ever. So everybody knows who works in retail, like myself.
Yeah.
Black Friday is a day after Thanksgiving. It's the beginning of the holiday shopping extravaganza known as pre-Christmas shopping, and you're gonna have people who came home from shopping all day, and they're gonna be eating dinner, and they're gonna watch some football. So
good.
It's gonna be weird to see a Friday game. I don't know how that's gonna work with the schedule.
That's weird, man. That's gonna be weird because you're gonna have Thursday night football that week, and then you're gonna
Friday night football,
football,
Monday night football.
then Sunday night football, then Monday.
Sunday, that's crazy.
Oh wow,
That's insane. It's all about the money.
Right.
Games don't. Oh, go ahead.
My thought on the whole Black Friday thing is, are the games going to be discounted? Like, if I want to go to the Black Friday, is it going to be like 30% off? I don't know.
Right. Are we going to get like buy one, get one free? Like you get a ticket and you get the next game off? Like probably not, though. Not the NFL. Yeah. Games don't necessarily belong to networks anymore. All games are free agents.
It's crazy. So I guess I'm trying to understand. So not all NFC games are going to be on Fox or what?
It happened last year. My brother, I was watching the end of the Dolphins game with him. And I'm like, the Niners are coming up on an AFC channel. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. So I've already seen it last year. The Niners played on they played on the AFC channel out where I am, and the AFC is it's usually just AFC teams, but the Niners were on there playing. I forgot who they were playing. It might have been like Seattle or somebody else. But speaking of Black Friday, I might have to do, by the time that happens, get myself a camera for streaming, like the real one, not just a Logitech. So I just thought about that as Laura said, Black Friday discounts. I just thought about that.
You might need to. That's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Like the networks are free agents. It's
everything's just NFL, whatever.
It's crazy, man. They're getting so much money now.
The other two are teams can be on Thursday night twice, and teams are not guaranteed a primetime spot.
Yeah,
the whole Thursday night twice thing, I think, is horrible for the league.
Yeah, but I think they're doing those two because they don't want teams like Denver. Last year, Denver, oh my God, their Thursday night game, specifically Denver Broncos, their primetime games were so bad. And they had a lot of Thursday night games. I think the NFL's like, we cannot have a crappy team again that we thought was going to be good at the beginning of the season. Like, it's hard to project, but like teams like the Cardinals right now, I don't expect them to get a primetime game. Right. It just doesn't look good.
Like teams could probably be flexed in at some point.
Correct.
How's my new computer been? Good. It's a what do you call? It's the operating system is Windows. So I'm used to it. I've got to figure out some of the what bells and whistles as far as screen time and saving and having it turn off while I'm in the middle of talking. Let's see. Two last things really I would say are the talk from John Lynch that Purdy could be ready by early June to start throwing, which would technically put him June, July. He'd be ready for September. He'd be ready. He'll be throwing. So by the time the season actually starts, mid-September, he technically could be ready. Yeah. Technically. That's awesome.
Yeah,
listen, I want Lance to be the guy, and then he could just be a really good backup. But at the same time, if Lance is faltering and you have Purdy coming back, you're good, hopefully, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Brock Purdy can be the guy that comes in mid-season, and we know he could come in middle of the season and pick up the team and lead them to great heights. We saw him do it last year. But I think it's good news for Brock. I don't think it, like, when I saw that report, I was like, okay, that's basically he's not having any setbacks in his rehab. So, and that was the timeline of if everything goes right and everything's healing, by early June, he should be ready to throw. So early June, that's about a month from now. So hopefully by that time he should be throwing, but it's not just out there throwing like normal, football.
No, he'd be throwing like lobs and stuff, little tosses.
It's going to be like, actually, it might not even be a football initially. It might be like a tennis ball. It might be a golf ball. You got to ramp up the arm to see how it is because the football is a little heavier. And then
it is.
And then as he continues to go through training camp, then we get to see, how's the shoulder doing? Is it healing? Is he swelling? How many weeks is it going to be? So then we get to really see how the arm, how the elbow, how everything is progressing during that time. I feel like by the time training camp comes, he's going to kind of be behind, throwing behind like Jimmy was last year. Like there was like a separate section and he was peppering it out. I think that's what's going to be Brock for a while. So it's good to see. I didn't think it was like shocking because that's pretty much what they've been telling us. As long as there's no setbacks, this is his time frame. But it's good news because it tells us there isn't any setbacks. So that's what I took away from it.
And then lastly, Debo, not over the NFC Championship game lost. He was quoted as saying he thinks the most hated team in the NFL is the Eagles. He doesn't like their players. He doesn't like their fans. And he said that they only won because the Niners were playing with 10 players. Should we just get past it and move on, or do you think that this is good motivation for them when they play the Eagles?
Good motivation. I think they shouldn't get past it. It's frustrating. I agree with everything he said.
I do too. Unfortunately, I hate to say it.
They like to take what he says and then just blow it up because that quote blew up. And then he
Yep.
tweeted like, "They asked me the question, and now they made 100 articles about it." And that's the thing. Everybody was like crapping on Debo. Oh, you got to get over, blah, blah, blah. They ask him the questions, man. Like, what is he supposed to do? I can't answer it because if he takes the high road, then they're gonna be like, "Oh, he just dodging the question."
He's
So
dodging the question. Is he really okay with it? So either way, he's not gonna.
at the end of the day, that's how these players feel. They didn't want to lose that game. They fought all year. They won a massive winning streak to get to that point and lose. I'm sure these players are pissed off, man. You get emotions. We as fans get emotions. Can you imagine how the players feel? I'm sure he's mad. I'm sure he's using it as motivation. And I'm sure the rest of the team is. And I feel like by the time they get to that game, they're just gonna want to go out there and let the game do the talking because it's been so much. The fans of both teams have been yipping and yapping. I feel like at this point, these teams just need to get it out there. That's why I said I feel week one, we just need to play. I don't want to draw it out because we're just gonna hear the same stories. We're gonna hear the same nonsense. It's gonna be like, oh, the Niners, they didn't have Brock Purdy. And what would have happened if it's the same story recycled. We just need to see them play.
Agreed. Hey man, we made it through. You've been really ill lately, so I just want to make sure everybody knows that. You have any stuff going on this week at the channel? I know you did a show with Larry yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Monday.
So you did it with okay. It is, yeah. Well, it's almost Wednesday.
Oh,
It is.
No, yeah, yesterday. You're right. I honestly, man, I told you right before I was taking a nap. I woke up. I thought it was the next day. I still.
Those are the worst. I don't know if anybody in the chat, whoever's here, the nap, the mid afternoon nap when it gets dark early, and you think it's the next day. Oh, it's the worst.
I thought it was Wednesday. So I'm still in that. I'm still out of it. But yeah, no, I don't really have much plans. I'm just been so busy with other stuff to work. So
yep.
I can tell you I got a lot of plans for my stream, but I'll get back there when I need to. But I got a lot of work this week. So
yeah, I think once the football season starts, even for me, just the channel's been pretty dead. To be honest with you, I see the views on the bigger channels. It's just tough, man. It's you got to be committed to this, and I mean, I know you have a massive Instagram and Twitter. I'm doing this more now for fun and to I don't know. I just like the relationships that I've developed. I'm glad I got a chance to do something with you on the regular.
yeah, no,
it's been refreshing because sometimes when you have a big mouth like myself, you tend to scare people away. So
no, it's been fun. I like doing it. I feel like at this point, social media, I'm doing it for the fun and keeping up with the team. And maybe once the season comes, things will change. But I'm just focused on taking care of myself. Like you said, I've been sick, and I just got to focus on other things right now. Unfortunately,
I don't think you guys realize how sick he's been. He's been like, I literally message him every other day, like, "Hey, you okay? Hey, you okay?
I appreciate that.
No doubt. Oh, because
it was bad. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't like just talking to people like when they're good.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
I like to vent to people. Some people don't care to listen to me, and other people listen. So if they're gonna listen, then I got to be. You got to pay it forward. You got to reciprocate in kind.
I'm a good listener. I know that. I mean, I'm a physical therapist, so like part of my job.
Oh, I know. I talk all the time when I'm talking to my therapist.
All my they love it, man. Like that. I get paid.
I talk a lot.
I feel like I'm just a professional listener, which is great because sometimes people just need to vent, man. Like, and
this is like they're especially some of these older folks. This is all they do all day. They don't have nothing else going on. So they go to the grocery store and they talk to the grocer or the person who helps them push the cart to the car, or their therapist or physical therapist. That's all they got, man. So be kind.
I do home health now, and like some of my patients, they love when I come over because They don't even want to do. They don't even. They're like, Rod, look, I'm feeling good. We got 2 more visits. I'm gonna be real with you. I just need to like get shit off my chest. Show me a couple exercises. We'll do them. Make sure I'm. They're like, does this look good? I'm like, yeah. How's your pain? Okay, good. And like, I had one lady. She's sad. Her kids moved away. One of them passed away, so she doesn't have a lot. So I come
Oy.
over. I'm kind of like her son. She'll make like lunch. I'll come over, grab some food, and then we'll talk about some stuff. She'll do her therapy, and then I'll bounce out, and she feels great. And she's like, have you
That's
eaten?
awesome.
How's your day been? I'm like, it's been a busy day. Sit down. I got a panini for you. I was like, great.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So that's it, man. They just need a vent. So
Speaking of panini, I tried one. My brother, I'd never have had what's that place where they make the sandwiches?
there's a lot. Quiznos,
No, the paninis. They make them all the time.
Panera.
Panera.
Yeah,
He made me try this barbecue chicken with like some sweet peppers or something. I was just like, whoa. Because I'm really picky with food. Dude,
yeah,
banging.
it's good.
Banging. So
Panera.
I might have to try some Panera. When I was dating this crazy chick back in the day, I never got Panera. She did. So like I would go get food from where I was getting it, and she'd go grab a soup and a sandwich from Panera. And I never really thought. I just thought it was like soup and a sandwich. You could do that at home, right? But after trying that sandwich the other day, might have opened up
Dude,
another place.
yeah, they're good.
Yeah, it was banging.
It's
It was like barbecuey and chickeny and sweet.
I live across the street from one, so like Fridays when I get my daughter, we'll go. I'm like, well, you want to go eat? So sometimes I don't like. After a long week, I'm like, let's go eat. She'll like 7 times out of 10, she'll probably pick Panera Bread. Like we love going there. So
Me, it's my guilty pleasure is Olive Garden and breadsticks.
oh god, yeah.
I can't. Dude. I need to lose so much weight. I can't eat that stuff.
Olive Garden is good. The breadsticks,
I might go on like one last just thing where I eat a bunch of bad stuff, and then go into some intermittent fasting because I really love those. Bro, when I go, I'll get 2 entrees of fettuccine Alfredo.
oh wow.
I'll actually get them. They give me a boat of sauce,
Oh man.
a moat of sauce, not a boat, whatever. And then I get about 12. I get about a dozen breadsticks plus the ones that come with my meal.
Oh
So
wow.
like I'll eat with my meal, and then at nighttime when I'm playing some video games, or right before I go to bed, I get a glass of iced tea, heat up a couple breadsticks. Life is good.
Those breadsticks, gas, man. I
Yeah,
love.
they're like crack cocaine. It's funny on the uh, Cobra Kai, the last Cobra Kai season, when two of the main characters are fighting, and their dad or their the stepdad tries to get them to finally work things out, and they finally become friends.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to take them to Olive Garden, it doesn't work out, and then when they become friends, the 2 characters are like, yo, you know what you said about these breadsticks, how they change your life? He goes, you weren't playing. I was like, see,
They really
even in Cobra Kai, they talk about it. So that
they
was
good.
great.
Olive Garden's not like the greatest Italian,
No, it's not real Italian
but
food at all, but it's
but it,
tasty.
but it's tasty, man. And those breadsticks, oh my god, kudos to them.
Yeah.
Those things are like crack cocaine. Those
Uh-huh.
man, the chicken parm, the Alfredo. I mean, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good if you don't eat it all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot coming through. Appreciate you supporting for the few of you that were in here. I appreciate it. It's been a grind lately, but I'm glad to have Raj back hanging out with them on the channel this week. I would assume we'll be back on Raj's channel next week, and I would like to think that maybe we'll have some stuff post schedule drop.
Yeah,
Maybe a little OTA stuff. I don't know how much you're going to get from the OTAs,
I
but
think the mini camp news here and there. We'll get a little bit of stuff.
and then it's going to be. I'm not necessarily going to take a break from YouTube, but I might take a little bit of a hiatus, not because I'm mad or upset. I might cut down the streaming to, if anything is big to talk about, kind of the streaming, like a major injury, knock on wood, or just something. Because it gets to a point where you're like searching. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I got to that point too because I was like, I was trying to do this full time, and it was like I was sitting there during the day, cutting, making content and stuff, and I
He's
just
like looking on Twitter, like there's nothing to talk about.
I was like making stuff, and I felt like this is stupid, man. And then I was, at the end of the day, I wasn't getting paid, and I was like, I need to figure something else out. But eventually the YouTube grind will go back. But
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. It was actually I can't say fruitful, but it was you got only so much you can kind of regurgitate in a week. So I have a stream tomorrow with Ted from Ted Talks Ball, and then that's pretty much it for the week. So
I'm glad the schedule's coming out this week. We'll have some good stuff to talk about.
Something to sink our teeth into one last time before training camp. But hey, everybody, take care. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week. Talking a little schedule stuff and OTAs. Take care, everybody.